Hey, it's the champ Antonio Tarver, man. I want to dive right in for the big historical weekend we had this past weekend in Dallas, Texas, Jerry's World. Dallas Cowboy Stadium hosted, Netflix hosted the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson uh, big, big boxing match event that they had, man. They broke viewership. You feel me? 65 million people, man, tuned in and watched around the world, as Jake Paul, defeats Mike Tyson, man. And on the undercard, Mario Barrios defeat Abel Ramos in a split decision draw. Very close fight, man. Both of these fighters laid it all on the line. Both was hurt throughout this contest. And, it was Mario Barrios, man, holding out and edging out a very determined Ramos, man, who put the pressure on. The sixth round had a big round. I think when he looked back, I think he let one get away right then. I think a little bit more added pressure and maybe landing a couple more sharp punches would have probably, got him out of there. But, man, Barrios fought back gallantly, man, and as he, showed the heart of a champion. I think his experience by being in there with some of the biggest names really, was able to out hustle him down the stretch. You know what I mean? Really let his hands go. You can see that he was determined to just be a little bit more busier. And he landed some good shots to really, I think, put the nod in his favor. Now, Barrios with the interim WBC championship, they're going to be looking at him like food. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? They're going to be looking at him like food. There's a lot of young guys out there looking to make a breakthrough. You know what I mean? So, that'll be a fight that, Barrios can really, get back in the mix with by fighting one of the champions. You know what I'm saying? If not, fighting one of the upstart guys that's coming up, you know what I mean, for that interim title. But he moves on in the welterweight division, man. And the co-feature was one of the best, two women's in the game came together and they did it again in a rematch, man. And this fight has some controversy, they say, you know what I mean? But when I looked at the fight, you know what I mean, I think, styles make fights. I really expected a lot more technical work in this fight. And I think that would have, separated, the two fighters. But, man, it was close. It was anybody fight, you know what I mean? And I think that cut really affected, the Puerto Rican princess, man, Amanda Serrano, man. And that she came up a little bit short and Katie Taylor, defends her championships, man. Again, the technique, man, I think was a little flawed. And I think, from both fighters, I think if they would have just put a little bit of more thought behind what they were doing rather than so much heart, I mean, I think, we could have saw, something different, you know what I mean? Because when you just banging away, one person hitting the other, they're exchanging like that, it's really hard for the judges, you feel me, to see who's really winning or who's dominating. You know what I mean? The one thing stuck out to me was as soon as I turned on the television, I saw her in basketball shoes. I know that's her thing. But I know what it feels like to be in a boxing ring on a canvas with basketball shoes on. If you ever had that happen to you, or if you've been in the boxing ring, you know that it's going to be hard for you to get the footing and the balance. It's not the same as on the court. You know what I mean? It's softer, so a sneaker is going to really, slow you down. It's going to really, you're not going to be as quick, or, you're not going to be able to feel your footing. You know what I mean? That's why in boxing shoes, they're really thin on the bottom and they're all just one level. You know what I'm saying? In a basketball shoe, you just have a different surface. And it's a lot of, we don't have that much rubber on the bottom, but in a basketball shoe, it does. So that right there was alarming to me. And I know it's a fashion statement and it looks good, but, Jordan did make boxing shoes once upon a time. You know what I'm saying? If he doesn't anymore, but I think that will be something, if we can see this fight again, I think it'll, be in her best interest, or would behoove her to have on custom boxing shoes that fits your feet snug. You know what I'm saying? So that you can really dig into that mat. And I think that really affects leverage. It does. It does affect leverage. And if you don't have the leverage, it's going to be hard for you to generate the power that you're looking for. So, that was the one thing that was a red flag to me. And I'm wondering, why would anyone advise that? You know what I mean? I can't see my trainer or any trainer I've ever had would allow me to go out there in a boxing ring with basketball shoes on. And I think that was an omen for what was to come. And she lost a very close decision. I know, was the most popular fighter. They love her over there in Puerto Rico, man, as deserving. So, you know what I mean? But I think if she would have got her technique off instead of just walking in and just, standing straight there, she could have did a lot better, and now, if she wants to continue to advance, which I know she probably do, this is the type of fight you got to put under the microscope. This is how champions get better. You feel me? Now we look at the loopholes, and now we got to get back in the gym and fill those loopholes. You feel me? In anticipating a rematch. You feel me? Now this is where, what you would call a master trainer, teacher, or what have you, will come in for a week, maybe even assessment. You feel me? To really plug those holes in. You know what I mean? And that would be the benefit for someone like Amanda Serrano. You feel me? Because if they can't fill those holes up, then it's going to be hard. You know what I mean? For her to change this outcome. You feel me? So she's going to have to get a little bit better, you feel me, with the things that she did in the ring, the things that she wasn't able to do in the ring that could have really separated her and Katie Taylor. But Katie Taylor ain't going. You know what I mean? Here's a very proud boxer that feels that she has 2 wins up on Amanda Serrano right now. And, she didn't feel like it was any controversy. I think when they go back and look, at the moment, in the moment, we all are a lot of times, you know what I mean, emotional. And sometimes we don't think clearly when so much is at stake. And I think, as sportsmanship goes, we want to, you know what I'm saying, even though it ain't our night, we say what we say, but then, we leave it alone, man, because, we don't want to feel as if we're taking anything away from somebody that could have a different of opinion. And because she has a lot of followers too, fans and everything. It was just a good fight. It could have went either way, but, a lot of times when you on the promoter's undercard and everything, and all the fans are there to see the headlines, they kind of, the audience kind of sways, the judges sometimes, you know what I mean? But, I think it could have been a draw, it could have been a draw, but hey, Katie Taylor moves on, and hopefully we get to see this fight again to truly prove, who's the best fighter at that division. This was the Turo Gotti and Mickey Ward of ladies boxing. And as I spoke before, man, Jake Paul defeats the living legend, boxing icon Mike Tyson by unanimous decision, live on Netflix, man. Watched by over 65 million. I mean, we all came into this, we all wanted Mike to do well. Personally, I just didn't want to see him hurt. So, when I look back at everything, like I said earlier, boxing won. Boxing won, man. But early on in that fight, that first round, man, I said it. He dodged the bullet. That first right hand that Jake Paul threw, man, it missed him by an inch. And I think if that punch would have landed, I think things could have been a whole lot different. You know what I'm saying? But hey, Mike Tyson, for the time that he was in there, you know what I mean? I think his head movement really allowed him to avoid the big shot. You feel me? He did get hit, got stung a little bit, but he was able to make it through. I think those 2-minute rounds is something that I think, works for the older fighter. You know what I'm saying? They had on heavier gloves. I think that was something that worked. You know what I mean? That allowed, Mike Tyson to, perform like he did. I mean, a lot of people felt that, he didn't do what everyone thought he was gonna be able to do. And you got to either credit Jake Paul, you know what I'm saying, or like everyone know, Father Time is undefeated. And I think we saw that clearly in this particular fight. You know what I mean? And as good as it was for everyone, the nostalgia of it all, to see Mike Tyson in there doing what he do, you know what I mean? But I just kept hollering, Francois Botha, Francois Botha. That's what I wanted to see, if anyone can remember that fight. But he couldn't pull the trigger. The balance, he had a brace on his knee, and I think, that could have affected Mike. You know what I'm saying? And Jake Paul, man, you got to give him credit. He didn't get out of control. And you can see, he is developing, right there along. Because, man, if anybody, I don't care how old Mike Tyson is, you're going to have your head on a swivel. And if you're going to survive that, and just being in there with a guy like Mike is intimidating, of course, because his reputation precedes him. If anybody does, Iron Mike Tyson reputation does. So, it was, risky. You know what I mean? It was challenging, and Jake Paul kept it together, man. Stayed behind his jab. He let his punches go. I think it was a time where I felt, Jake Paul could have did some serious damage. I don't know, he said even in the post-fight interview, he felt like he held back. You know what I mean? I thought, if that was the case, that wasn't something he should have announced. I thought, you know what I mean? He let it be what it was. But, I thought that was kind of just adding salt to the wound, pretty much like he do, you know what I'm saying? And that's cool, you know what I mean? But I wanted to see Mike put hands on it, man, really, you know what I mean? For the sport, for the game, you know what I mean? And to just bring about a little order, you feel me? But it wasn't to be, man. Jake Paul moves on, and everybody asking what's next for Jake Paul, man. But we see everybody in the entertainment business has, pretty much came out challenging Jake Paul. You feel me? Challenging Jake Paul. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that, I feel, Antonio Tarver and Jake Paul will be a hell of a fight with everything being considered. You feel me? When you look at the plot for this fight, it was an older fighter that had a legacy, had a name, had a brand, but, nobody brand is as big as Mike Tyson. You feel me? But that worked for this fight. The age, you feel me? The age, when you look at me being 55 right now, my birthday in a couple more days, November 21st, I'll be 56. You feel me? And, the same plot that we had with Rocky Balboa, Sly did his thing, came up. I was the champion in the movie at the time. You feel me? And I gave the older guy a shot at the title. You feel me? That was the same plot, same storyline. So we know this storyline works. You feel me? And when you look at me, a guy that's been retired since 2015, haven't fought anyone, you feel me? That's almost 10 years removed from the game. So, that will be interesting. Can Jake Paul beat another old guy like myself? You feel me? That's 30 years older than him. You feel me? So, I'm gonna put my name in the hat. You feel me? And it's a lot of meat on this bone. You feel me? This thing already packaged up real well. And so I'm gonna put my name in the hat. But I know I might not be the first choice, but I've always had foresight. You feel me? I called Jake Paul out after he knocked out Robinson way back when. We have this on record, so, I've always felt and saw and feeling as if they getting ready for me anyway. Because you feel me? When you look at all these all the movement that's going on in boxing today. People are right now getting in boxing from all walks of life. You feel me? Everybody, and my thing is, when they gonna invite Tarver to the party. You feel me? When you look at what we gonna talk about, history, legacy, accomplishment, we can talk about it all. You feel me? And I just believe I can sell a fight better than anyone. You can go back and look, you feel me, at my history, the things that I've done in the ring that I'm noted for. I think that sells, and the fact that, you feel me, I'm older than him, it's a real fight. And I think that in itself, if you can tune in, what I mean, to see Jake Paul, fight a legendary fighter like Mike Tyson, you feel me? Even though we wanted Mike Tyson to do what, would have probably been virtually impossible at his age. You feel me? When you look at him only 2 years younger than Mike, I think people tune in to see, could I knock Jake Paul out? Or could Jake Paul knock me out? Something that's never been done before, So stay tuned. We can talk about that for some time, man. But I want to put my name in the hat and challenge Jake Paul. You know what I mean? But just don't wait till I'm 60, Jake, to come get me. There you have it. You've been listening to Tarver's Take. Until the next time, stay tapped in, and I'll talk to you then.